Hi there, I just want to do a little video and I think I'll talk about, I talk about, every day I talk about my path, obviously, but what you find is, and this is the truth, and a lot of people, some people might not like this, especially the frauds, the spiritual frauds. I've been involved in psychic things since I was about 6. My mum being off, travelling kind of people. And basically I was in psychic fairs. My mum used to run psychic fairs when I was about 6, 7, maybe even younger. And basically I've seen the kind of people. It's a different kind of, slightly different field, the spiritual awakening path, of course, but there was always kind of growing up psychics and mystical people, and there's a lot of frauds in this field. You got to, I sincerely mean that, really. There's people that get involved for sometimes psychological reasons, and they become obsessive over books or over courses, or they want to be like the most enlightened one. Or I even see it myself. I've had people looking, and they're trying to say things similar to me or to someone else who they've seen. And nothing wrong with that, because we're all the same. We're all one consciousness, just expressing itself in different ways. But you got to be careful of this. And what you normally find is, I've got followers on Instagram who are, some of them, very awake, and you get some that aren't. The ones that aren't are the ones that are actually saying that they're the most awake ones ever. The ones that are actually saying, I'm a light worker, I'm a light worker, I'm a light worker. They're the ones that aren't that. The ones that are really awake, some of the awake ones, the really ones that have ascended quite a bit, get to a point, especially when they weren't involved like I was in this kind of field when I was 6, they get annoyed, and so they don't call themselves even spiritual, or they don't want to be known as that. Some of them will go down a different path. Some of them, that's just what they do, or they won't advertise it on like their Instagram or something so much. Their journey, they'll talk about it, do videos and stuff. But this is the way that it is. Honestly, it's one of those things where the spiritual field in general, or the awakened thing, they all want to be awake, but someone that has had an experience like myself, I had a massive brain explosion when I was 24, and it was unexpected. Came out of nowhere. I was very, very depressed up until that point. All my years was, I would say, a disaster. And got to a point where I had enough. And all of a sudden, I decided enough was enough, and something within me decided that, like the soul part, you could say, came through. And ever since then, you're never actually fully awake. I want to say that. People that don't understand about this stuff, they don't understand that you can't ever be fully awake. Because once you have one awakening, you get another awakening, and another. And remember, it's infinity you're tapping into. So it's infinity of knowledge. So every day I'm experiencing a new awakening. Every moment there's a new awakening and new information. And it's like that clarity thing. Oh, wow. That's what happens when you have one awakening. And then it's always that. And the clarity energy thing gets stronger and stronger the more you're doing it. Like on my Twitter, I had like this cover picture of saying clarity on it recently. And that was because it reminded me on this path. And at some stage I might put something similar again on a cover picture. But that's what happens. Well, that's what happened, and people that have had this experience, I've seen them saying it as well, so I know that they understand what I'm talking about. That's what happens, like this clarity. And then that's like a type of awareness itself, clarity. And that's when and then you're dealing with that all the time. So once I turn this video off, I'll get something that will show me something. Then someone else will show me something, and it's like I'm being directed by my soul consciousness. And then another awakening, I get them all the time. So once you have one awakening, that's only the beginning. But people that haven't had this experience don't understand what it actually is. They don't understand what it actually feels like, or they think that, oh, once I get an experience, that'll be it. And they obviously haven't had it, because if they did, they would understand what I'm talking about. They'd understand that you're never actually finished. Because what you've returned to is the infinite self. The infinite self is not your labels. It's not your religions. It's not your family bloodline. It's not your blood that you're born with. Right? It doesn't matter what blood type you are. It's not your beingness, your being form. That's your experience, but it's actually like a holographic illusion. What you are is merely a holographic projection from your own consciousness, of which has no real form. And you're basically infinite. You're a channel, but within an infinity of awareness and consciousness. And you're projecting that. And science now even says that, and that science is, you see it all the time now, that we're all energy, as science says, and that nothing is physical. And this is why science now is going to the concept of this as a simulation, because they're saying, well, if it's all energy, it's all electrical, it adds up to like a computer. It adds up to that, so it's obvious that, it's obvious that that's what we're in. And everything has to be electrical for reality to be. So it's like a computer, isn't it? But that's the true self, just a state of awareness. And what does the awareness come from? The awareness comes from a science calls reflector consciousness. You got nothingness. But within nothing is a reflector, a mirror, if you will. So it's like you being, imagine black, but then you see a reflection, little something, but it's you're looking into, but it's an infinity. That's why it's infinite non-duality. But it's aware of itself. And because of the infinite awareness, that awareness presents duality, the one and the other, the experience, the experiencer, the observed, the observer, even though the two are the same one. Because it's an infinite thing going on, that's why there's infinite life. And that's why I was just saying a moment ago, that's what the true self is. It's this infinite power, it's this infinite consciousness that life really is. And that's the real self. You get even people on YouTube and they're obviously not aware of the real self. They think the real self is what they're eating. They think if I eat this kind of meat, I mean, I don't eat meat, I'm a vegetarian, but wasn't always that, but that's another story. But they think if they eat, we must eat this kind of meat, because they don't understand that everything that exists is you. And you can be, like Law of Attraction says, any iron or frequency you think about, because it's all you. Sometimes you just haven't, when you're actually eating something or drinking something, you're actually just eating parts of you. Just in a duality experience, but that's all it is. But the dual must be expressed for you to experience anything. But it's all you, and you can become any element or any energy frequency by simply thinking about it. And the more you think about it, the more you get pulled towards that frequency, you see. And then it gets closer and closer, and that's how you do that. But anyway, I'm just going to end it there. If you're watching, you're meant to watch it. Everything falls to divine order. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.